Now, international bodies across the globe have come out to condemn Russia's actions, but this, of course, has little effect in creating real change. And that includes the role that the UN has played throughout this crisis. I mean, the UN has always been criticized for holding meetings that have proven to be insufficient.
Yes, I think what is happening at the UN is still important, even though the General Assembly doesn't have the same powers as the Security Council. But more than that, I think those international responses that we keep hearing about signify potentially a make or break moment for the future of collective security in the world, for which the UN was created initially, because these series of very quick steps you keep hearing first time ever or first time in decades that have been taken so far by states, by international organizations such as the UN and others, but also by big business, are heavily influenced by international public opinion that is spurred by the media. So this pressure needs to continue, certainly.
All right, you said the information that is spread by the media. So let's shed some light on the double standards that we're also seeing in the way that this conflict has been treated by the international community, particularly in media, comparing what's happening in Ukraine to other wars that we've seen around the world. Like, I mean, let me be clear here. No one should have to go through what Ukrainians are currently going through at the moment. But this war really has unveiled the gruesome racism people of color and Muslim nations in particular face.
Certainly, I think this is a very significant point, and we see already many, many manifestations of that racism that you're pointing to. But then we need to ask, what is happening in terms of international public opinion? Why do we see such an outpour of empathy? And the reason is that identification and empathy go hand in hand. So often the people who need our help the most are the people we least identify with. So for people in the West to see what is happening to the Ukrainians is much more close to their understanding or their reality than countries where the death toll is 100 times more. And what we really need to do is, instead of blaming one another, is to see how can what we see now in terms of international outpour of, and mainly in the West, of empathy and mobilization can later on be translated into the same thing when something is taking place in the DRC or the things that are happening now in Yemen and so on. So I think rather than accuse one side or the other, we need to certainly learn and then use what is taking place for others. And certainly the color of skin does play a role, unfortunately, and we need to highlight that and push that well into the discussion in international media.
All right, Professor Eyal Mayroz, thank you so much for joining us here on Tier 2 World and sharing that insight with us.